Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Python Conference Indonesia 2021. Um, my name is Bima. Today I will be your moderator right now. And today for speakers, I will introduce to you guys uh, Mr. Chiptoning Hestomo. He prefer called Toki, bisa can call Mas Toki, and he is a senior backend engineer. And I will introduce to you right now.
Hello.
Halo,
Hello, hello.
Mas
Hello, hello,
Toki.
Mas Bima. Thank you for
Oh,
the
okay,
hello,
good.
guys.
How's today, Mas? Feeling
Fine,
good?
fine. Actually, good. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Okay, and right now as a senior backend engineer in Julo, right?
Yep.
Maybe today you will be talks about the beauty of mocking in testing.
Mhm,
So to short time, the time is yours right now. So
mhm.
go on. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Can everyone see my screen right now? Okay. Uh, I will start. Hey, everyone. Once again, good to see you guys today. Thank you for having me for in this floor. First thing first, my name is Kip Toning. You can call me Toki. Currently, I work on Julo as a senior backend engineer, and I've been using Python for exactly 6 months, I think. 6 months since the day I work in Julo. And I was a Java guy before, but the journey, the experience with Python this 6 months is so fascinating. It gives me the courage to give you a sharing session, to share it to you about how the beauty of Python is, especially the mocking and testing. So let's start. Yeah, the talk that I will give to you today is the beauty of mocking and testing. Mock testing in the modern software development lifecycle is an important requirement. As you guys know, writing 1,000 of lines of code and then not doing testing at all is considered ugly. An ugly code produces many bugs. So beautify it with a mock testing. And this talk just want to show you how to do it. Yeah, for start, let me tell you on how code can be called ugly. You write a code, for example, and then we deploy it without testing because we think that it's only a simple code or only a few lines, and then we release it to the public, and then not so long, and after that, you got an error. The very next day, you got an error, and you fix it again, but you get an error again. Fix it again, get an error again. All this time you haven't tested anyway. And then suddenly we realize that the code becoming so complex and then it becoming full of bugs. Yeah. So there are some problems with the mentality of you. When you want to find out the root cause of your problem, that's make it more complex and so you become more confused how to fix it. That's an ugly code. So we have to give the mentality to not avoid the problems. The bugs is the problems, not the testing. The testing is a solution because you want to avoid the problems, not the solution. Because as we know it, writing a test code is a hassle. But we have to treat it as a solution. So we test on our codes happily, and no, it's not tiring. So let's talk about automated testing. So it is a process of testing using software tools to automate the functionality process of the codes. it helps to see if our codes can do exactly as it is written. And the test is being done as part of the process of reviewing and validating a software product. Now, let's see the 4 types of automated testing. We have unit testing, integration testing, UI testing, and regression testing. In unit testing, we test the functionality of our component in the module, so we can find out if our module has satisfied the goal or not. In integration testing, we check the reliability of the codes available in the application compared with our code, combined with our codes. Is it working as intended or not? So if we are working in a team, we usually combine many codes into one application. And there are people aside from us working on the same application. So it is important for us to do this, so we are not affecting the other codes heavily. Okay, and then we have UI testing. UI testing is checking on how your code affects the UI of our application. Is it affecting the behavior of the user or not? Is it intended or not? Those types of questions should be asked while testing the UI so the application won't break because of the module we implemented. And lastly, we have regression testing. We need to test the flow of our application from the start to finish to make sure there are no breaks in our application. Yeah, every case should be looked at by us so we can release our codes, modification, and new function confidently to the user. After the explanation, do you still think that the test is not important? The answer to this question is as clear as day. That we needed to increase the depth and scope of tests to help improve our software quality. A better software quality makes the development process lean because it will lessen bugs and lessen the time you wasted on the same function every now and then. But is it enough? That's the question. Is it enough if we have the tools to do the automated testing? I guess no. Because apparently, engineers rely too much on the automated testing. They have shifted their goals from looking for the bugs or the problems to passing the test. Only passing the test, not thinking about how I can find another bugs or edge cases in this application. And the lack of proper testing makes the quality of your code put into question. Nowadays, and now we move on to the core. And this is the highlight of the talk today. Especially my talks, mocking is the solution. Mock testing. In this type of test, we can create as many scenarios as possible to make sure our codes are ready for the intended function. So, what is mock testing? Well, you can say it is a test with a goal to recreate the flow of how your code should work with a sample case. And think of many dummy scenarios as possible. You can think of like Doctor Strange. Yeah, like the Doctor Strange in Marvel Avenger, you know, the Infinity War. He is testing every possibility of when he can win. It's the same principle with us, a developer. We have to think as many possible scenarios as we can, so we can confidently say that we have the best quality software we release. Now, there is a library in Python that we can use to apply and implement this. It's called unittest.mock. Yeah. So in this library will allows you to replace parts of your system under test with mock objects and make assertions about how they have been used. And then every scenarios we can think of, every scenarios that we can list will be tested with this library. We can start to do some testing in different scenarios so we don't have to worry. Faking a real case scenarios is the way to emulate on how the code will respond and behave. So we can give a conclusion whether the test case is passed or not. It is a good test case or not. Yeah. After our testing is done, we can say confidently that whether our code will be working well or not in a real situation. And there are benefits if we do this, such as these three. The maturity of product. Yeah. So in product maturity, we can assess either directly or indirectly by looking into the product itself or through the process that we can use to develop that product. In the software engineering field, there are currently numerous capability and maturity models to assess a set of specific software process. But unfortunately, very few product maturity models for those interested in assessing this quality of software is out there. As you can see, we have TDD, test-driven development. That's one of the example. And then the smoke test help us in assessing the quality of the products or code as we release it in a real situation. The other benefit is having a plan work ahead before the schedule gives room for us to think about another matter that is equally challenging for programmers. Nowadays, programmers are not only just code. We can do managerial stuff as well, because when we want to release a product, we have to think about the business itself, about how people can use it, how it can make a better life for people. It's not a coding, it's not a technical thing. So we have to get a better time management for us so we can be a better programmer, a better person as a whole, so we can have the time that we need to make it happen. Yeah, for example, like me, if you work as a backend engineer, because when you work as a backend engineer, you must be one to have a seamlessly application flow and can be accessed as intended. It is hard to care about this thing if what we are doing is only creating new lines of code. But if there are many bugs happen, we have to be ready to be a tight schedule of back and forth before we can say this is released. So with a better time management, with a better fewer bugs, it's possible for us to make this. Yeah, lastly, we can say that with testing, we are at least happy as a coder. Yeah, even though we still face the same logic problems every day. Fewer bugs means less stress. Therefore, you will be happy. If your team already developed this habit, that's good. This kind of habit gives you confidence in your code, feature, or product, because you know that your work, guys, means quality. Because mock testing have to be a habit, and we have to make this work. So the team that you are working on have to be an agreement to implement the test as a habit and not just rely on another teams like QA or product, because we have to test it first before it will be released internally. So it will lessen the time to fix a bug so we can be happy and having less bugs is a bliss, you know. And finally, I can conclude that the beauty of a program is when we see a fewer and fewer bugs. We, as a developer, have some unique skills that not many possess. We are able to create things. Yeah, so I have some favorite quotes about a beauty. Beauty is pain, and testing is a hassle if you are really detailed on every test. But you have to know, guys, you will enjoy the result. It's the same with coding or developing programs. You are content with your code, but if there are no bugs in your code, you will really be satisfied with your works. I can guarantee that. Bugs are some things that needs to be avoided so we can admire our code all the time. Yeah. And now I'll do some demo to you guys. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, I have prepared beforehand a code base. Okay, with a successful test, unit test. So let's break it down. Let's test it again. Sorry. Oh my. Okay, let's test it again. Oh my god. Okay, so that's the problem. Okay. Let's see if we can solve this question. Okay, I'll be restarting this. Oh, that's the bug. We have to give a return value for this one. Okay, so let's start to restart it again. It's okay. Yeah, it's ready. Let's test it again. And now we are talking. Yeah, it's passed. Okay. Yeah, a typo in this one. Okay. Yeah, we have right here is a mini wallet exercise. Yeah, I want to show you how I use the mock testing. Before we go to the mock test, I will show you how the program should work. Okay. This one should be right here. Okay, it's error. So what's the problem? Okay. Yeah, this is one of the things that you have to be aware of. You have to test every possibilities. Yeah, it's success now. Okay. Yeah, this is a wallet things, guys. So we initialize the wallet, we deposit the wallet, and we give a balance to it. We withdraw some money from it, but it's just a virtual things, you know, not real things. So in this demo, I will show you how I implemented these mock testing things. The first one, usually I use happy and happy. I have to break it down to happy test case and unhappy test case. So we know where we expect that we have a good result, a good flow. So will be behaving as you intended to in your code. In this particular function, in this test function, I patching the UUID and I give the return value to 0, because if I don't do this particular variable will give us a dynamic value. Like you said, like you see here, this will give us a dynamic value, so we cannot test it right if we don't give a fixed value for it. So I give a fixed value here, so it will return a value of 0, not the actual UUID function will return. As you can see, I'm using Flash as the framework here, not Django. And then because it returns 0, of course, we have to set the token to be 0 because the data is success. And that's it, you guys. It's pass for this happy path. And yeah, we can move on into the unhappy one, where we don't have the payload or JSON for the test. Let's see. The route will be, because in this code, we are having a conditional statement here that will give this value if we are missing some field. Yeah, it will return this field if we are erasing this JSON. And then it's the same thing if we are giving the value of none in here. So it will give us the missing required field in body request as well. Yeah. But yeah, that's for the API function. How about if we test the functional in object? Like this one. Okay. Yeah. I want to test if this particular function gives us the best way, give us the right value for it. Like this one. I fix it. I mock the value that is expected to be returned as 5477. And then I override the return value of this function too with 5477. And then we are doing a comparing things right here. And we get success and we get pass in here. And then we test it on if we don't have a return value there. Of course, it will be failed, but we pass the test. And that's unhappy one. Next, we give it none value in the return value. And of course, it will give us a pass too, because we are comparing it with none. And the third unhappy one, this one we give none value to all of it. And yeah, it's pass too. So what I'm trying to say here is that before we do the function, we are building the test case for each function, we have to think of the unhappy path, the happy path for each function before we write it down. Because anything can happen. Anything is possible when you are working in the team. So apparently, if you are working in a team, it's bigger because we are only working on some part of the code, not every code. So you have to make sure that your code, your changes is not affecting the code as a whole. Yeah, you have to consider every possibility because that can happen. I think that's it for the demo. I hope the demo is enough for you guys. The goal of my talks and demo today is to show you how versatile mock testing is. And because of that, our creativity as a programmer, as a coder, make a larger part in it. Somehow you have to give an extra effort for the sake of your mental health. And that's it for my talks. I want to once again give thanks to the Python community in Indonesia that have given me the chance to give my talks in this platform. And for Julo, for being a great place to work and a place where I code Python for the first time ever. Remember, I was a Java guy. And actually, Julo is having a booth right now, and we have an open tech position for you guys to apply. So come to our booth, and we will welcome you with open arms. If you have any question, you can ask away. I'll answer it as the best as I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mas Toki. It's a really,
Thank you.
really amazing presentations. And as a data scientist, this is very new for me. It's a software engineering stuff, right?
Yeah.
And is some question already coming in? And
Okay.
okay, we directly like. So the first question is from Hadeva. As a junior software developer, we tend to test a random scenario without any guidelines. Is this the best practice that can be improved over time, or do you have any other some other purpose or recommendations as a junior software developer? How to yeah
First thing first, don't do just some random scenarios because it will wasting your time because
okay
you can be crazy at times with your scenarios. But my suggestion is that you can look at your code and think of it as the flow, and you see how the flow will go from A to Z, and then you will see a pattern, and then you can see where you can twist a thing a little bit, like you remove this part, what will happen, especially if the code function is receiving a third party data. It's very important to test the expected data so we can manipulate it as better as we can. So that's my suggestion for you. Not just random scenarios, but you have to make it make sense, not just you, but to everyone in the team as well.
okay I know that don't use random scenario because it's wasting your time. Okay, this is a high line. Okay. I hope the question can answer your Hadifa. If you want to ask again, just drop in chat directly.
Yeah.
And the next question is from Aris Maulana. It's quite long. How to mocking testing a function that are connected to third parties, such as connecting a payment gateway, for example, is it enough to just mock the expected response? And is it possible to change the response from third party to be calculated before making mock response?
Okay. So yeah, if we are dealing with third parties, we cannot control that. So we have to focus on what can we control. That is our code. So our code have to be as printable as we have on our mind. So we are doing everything as we can to give many scenarios as possible because sometimes third party can be having a delay in their response, or they are having a server upgrade, but without telling us. Usually that can happen in real life. So we have to be ready. We have to prepare every cases if we are dealing with third parties. So, but make it possible. But make it make sense. So not too far away from the uh, expected outcome, but maybe you can do a try case, maybe, so it will give you alert of what is happening in your code or software. I hope that's enough. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the highline is focused with your own code and what you can control it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's a nice answer. And next question, from Hardeva. Okay, do you have any framework or documentation on how to document the bugs you encountered throughout development along with its solutions?
Okay. So uh, I'm using TDD, but not entirely because yeah, it's just too much document. I just use uh, the important ones, like I document every happy pet, every unhappy pet, and every edge case pet, because uh, after that we can show to our stakeholders, our teams, that look, we have a working code and we have tested better and as best as we can. So if there are some errors, it won't be as big impact to you guys. So usually, I will recommend that you use TDD in your development process.
Okay, TDD.
Test developing.
Okay. Okay, nice. The next question is from Kai. Having worked on both Python and Java on mocking, what are the advantages and disadvantages of both? Yeah, maybe it's compared with a Python or Java.
Yeah. So in Java, I can do many things actually. So it gives me easy work. So it's more easy than Java. But Java, you can be go down as much as possible. So you can go given variable enough so that you can get the expected result of your path. But in Python, I need still to explore it. I'm just 6 months, into the Python. Yeah. But in Java, I can do many things until I can break it down until the littlest detail, usually.
Okay. Yeah, even we are new in some programming language,
Mhm.
so the keep in mind is we have to explore more and more.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So guys, if you have still any question, don't be shy, don't be worried. Just drop your question in on chat, so and your question will be appear here. Um, Maybe question from me.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah. Is it?
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Somehow, okay, my background actually as a data scientist
Mhm.
is a little bit far from software engineering stuff,
Mhm.
but I don't know. In Julo have some data team.
Yeah. We have CDO actually. We have Chief Data Officer.
Okay, yeah. Somehow we after we create the model machine learning, so uh, we can just in notebook and there is no integrate in system.
Mhm.
Some data scientists don't know about how to make the good API and how to testing with, because it's
Mhm.
far away from our how to knowledge about the software engineering. Just maybe just some recommendation for you how to with maybe you have test about the machine learning APIs. What can your recommendation for the testing? Yeah, something
Mhm.
like that.
Okay. So actually, I haven't test it too on the machine learning stuff on data. But I guess in data, the most important thing is the data itself, right?
Yeah.
In the unit testing, you fix the data to one value. I
Yeah.
thought is be pretty useless for it. So
Okay.
the most important thing to test in the data scientist, I guess, is penetration testing. I guess so you can receive much data bigger than maybe you 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 set, or you can get a better
Okay.
data lah.
Yeah, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
I know. Okay, okay. That's interesting, interesting. Yeah, I'm newly learning about the more in machine learning ops. So there's a lot of software engineering mindset. So this is really different with data people. Okay. So I think there is no question. So we can close this session right now, I think.
Oh, okay.
And thank you very much, Mas Toki. This very
Yeah.
insightful presentation. Thank you for your time to fill this as a speaker.
Hmm.
And goodbye, everyone.
Thank you and goodbye. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Joel.